Garbage collection, the beauty of the Turks and Caicos Islands, and the Labor Department were high on the range of topics discussed by the Consultative Forum during their meeting on Tuesday, March 9th. In a somewhat reserved session after members learned of the 10% pay cut across the civil service, the questions put to the Chief Executive, Mark Capes, seemed distant, and nevertheless they were asked. Father Scott Brennan asked a question about the garbage situation in Provo and his dismay that the collection process seems to be slow and tedious at best. He also went on to ask if recycling was an option and what plans were there for the dump site in Provo.
Notwithstanding the above, the practice of illegal dumping and improper waste disposal is a major concern. The Department of Environmental Health, has recently entered into agreement with 4 waste management companies to collect garbage throughout the communities of Providenciales. Further, the Department of Environmental Health has deployed street cleaners on Leeward Highway and some other main roads. The community of Providenciales should fairly soon see some improvement in the waste management. The Ministry recently entered into agreement with an operator to manage the landfill site in Blue Hills on a full-time basis. Previously, that arrangement was on an as-need basis. The government is currently reviewing a recycling proposal to recycle all plastic, aluminium and glass containers imported to the TCI. The proposal is scheduled to be presented at the next sitting of the Advisory Council.
Another area of concern expressed by Father Brennan was the state of many roads in Providenciales and that many residential areas are unpaved and are in very bad shape with potholes.
The Department of Engineering and Maintenance Services does continue to carry out remedial roadworks on Providenciales and elsewhere. These works include patching of potholes, cleaning of the median in Leeward Highway. And I can vouch for the fact that there has been some progress in Providenciales recently, and even here in Grand Turk too on Front Street. For example, on the Lower Bight Road, there were some seriously dangerous potholes there, which I was pleased to see recently have been professionally filled in. So there is work going on. Of course, all of this work is subject to the availability of funds, and as we've heard earlier today, funds are in short supply.
Former Minister of Immigration Karen Delancey took issue with one of her former departments and questioned the operations of the TCI Immigration Board. She quizzed the mandate of the Immigration Board. Is the board a revenue generator? What is the relationship between the Immigration Board and the Immigration Department? Is there a board database which shows how many locals versus expatriates are employed, where they are working, and at what level they are working? And is there a board policy or law to adjust the spouse or belonger residence permit should the Immigration Board refuse the permit?
To take the points A, B, C and D in order. Point A, yes, the Immigration Board does generate revenue. B, the Immigration Board is established under the Immigration Ordinance to carry out the special responsibility of supervising, controlling and authorising persons into the islands for the purpose of employment and temporary residence. The Immigration Department has overall responsibility for the control of entry and length of stay in the islands. Point C, the Immigration Board has a database that captures persons employed on work permits and their positions. The local labour force is not captured in the Board's database as they are not required to obtain a work permit. And point D, a person aggrieved by a decision of the Board may appeal under the provisions of section 32A to E of the Immigration Ordinance. Thank you.
For WIV4 News, I'm Tian Thomas.